Good morning, beloved beings. I know it's been a while since I made a video. There have been some extenuating circumstances. I have been ill, and I'm still not totally up to par, but I'm able to function, so that's something. And my apartment complex has new owners, and they have decided, in their eminent wisdom, to do an enormous amount of cosmetic work that we don't really need, and in so doing, making tons of noise right outside my door and window. So it's been difficult to find a good time frame to have enough quiet to tell a story. But today I felt like I really needed to tell a story because something that happened to me just yesterday, really. As I told you, have not been feeling well, so I have been doing some good amount of lurking on different content creators' websites and YouTube channels and not commenting and just listening. And so yesterday, I was lurking in a show that I ordinarily comment on. And someone made an offhand remark, someone in the comment section, in the chatters, made an offhand remark that kind of hurt my feelings, that I felt like was aimed at me. Now, I have no concept of whether or not that's actually true, whether or not this person was aiming the comment at me or it was just an offhand, kind of thoughtless comment. I generally pride myself on being very difficult to offend, and you really almost have to be trying to hurt my feelings to be able to do it. I learned to do that, to not take what other people say to heart because of some situations that I was in for many years where I was not given any kind of latitude as to my actions, and everything I did was wrong or subpar or not good enough or whatever the case was. So I learned to not take things personally. I was also raised to mind my own business. So whatever you think about me is not my business. My business is how I react to whatever you say, think, or do. What you do is your own, and it has nothing to do with me other than how I react to it. My responsibility is to be responsible for myself. How do I behave? How do I react? And is it my business? If it's not my business, then I don't generally want to stick my nose in it. So we come to yesterday, and this little remark was made, and it was a thoughtless, offhand, throwaway remark that shouldn't have hurt anybody's feelings in any way, shape, or form. But it kind of got to me, and so I had to step back and think, why was that? Why did I get my feelings hurt then? And it's, of course, because I let my ego get in the way. I tend to keep my ego under check. I try to keep it very close because I'm a Scorpio and I can say some very hurtful things without even trying. So I try to keep all of that in check. Because what I think about things is my business, and it's not yours. The same way that what you think about things is your business and not mine. So I keep things under my hat, unless somebody asks me a direct question. As a rule, not always, I will offer my opinion about things if I think that it's important for me to do so. So I had to start thinking about my ego. Why was my ego rearing its ugly little head at this time? And I came to the conclusion it's because I haven't felt well, and my guard is down, and I'm human. Some things have been going on around me in my personal atmosphere that have pushed me slightly off balance. And even though I like to go with the flow and have an adventure whenever something new happens, I do sometimes get knocked off balance because I'm human and I have an ego. So I had a little talk with my ego, and I reminded myself that, number one, no one knew I was in the chat. Number two, if this person did decide to say something offhanded about me, that was their right. It's a free country with free speech, and you can say whatever you want to. There are consequences to whatever you say, but you can actually utter any words that you want to, as long as you're willing to deal with the consequences of those words. So this person likely wasn't talking about me, and also did not know I was in the chat. Although there have been times when I've been lurking that someone will know that I'm there and speak to me and kind of force me out of the lurk mode. And so I'm getting better at masking whether or not I'm out there if I don't want to be seen. That's a tale for another day on how not to be seen. Which reminds me of a Monty Python sketch. So I digress. I had a little talk with myself about my ego, and I resolved in myself that this is not my business. What someone else thinks or says about me is not my business. And if it's an offhand remark out of ignorance, which this one seemed to be, then it's not my place to tell someone that they have wandered off the path. It's for them to come to a different conclusion or not on their own. That's not my journey. My journey is right here. This is my journey. My journey is holding space, holding the torch, lighting the way. That's what my space is. My space is to be a conduit for energy to come through me to someone who needs it or asks for it, and to be a beacon to show the way to the generation that will change things. We are here to learn from each other and to teach each other. We're not here to tear each other down. We're not here to judge each other. We are all going the same place, but we're all taking different journeys to get there. No journey is better or worse. They are simply unique to each person walking on that path. Now, we may walk together for a time. We may walk together for a long time. We may walk side by side on separate paths. However we get there is appropriate for us. So it's not my place to criticize someone else. It's not their place to criticize me. Although if that does happen, it's okay. We're human. We have egos. It's okay to forgive ourselves for something that we thought we got over, for something that we thought may not have been as helpful as it could have been, as appropriate as it could have been. Sometimes it's just outright unproductive. So, my friends, my beloved beings, that was a lesson I have learned several times. And it's a lesson I continue to need to learn. And when I thought about it this morning, I thought, this is something I need to make a story about. This is a story that is still ongoing, but that has implications for things that are going on now in the world. So, in this time of tumult and turmoil, be a beacon for peace, for love, for harmony, for change. Be the light. Be the conduit. Let the energy come through you. Raise your vibrations. And in so doing, you uplift everyone around you. And you hold space and hold light for those that are destined to make the change, to make things better. We are an important part of the energy shift that's taking place now. We're a very important part. We're holding the door and lighting the way. We may not all go to the end to see what happens, but we can be confident that we have done our part if we have shown the way. So now I'm asking my guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, ascended masters, and deities, my own spirit team, what lesson do we need to know from them about this story that I've been telling you today, about putting our ego aside, about getting out of our own way. The decks I'm using today are the Deviant Moon and Literary Witch Oracle. The reason I'm using these decks is because today is Halloween. The day I'm recording is Halloween, and Samhain season is in full swing, and so I thought these cards would be perfect for the day. Well, well. Alright, let's get an oracle. Let's see what the oracle has to say. Now, when I do these readings, I shuffle several times. If I were doing a private reading, I would shuffle until I felt comfortable, and then I would deal off the top. With the readings we do, I don't do that. I shuffle and then I pull random cards from the middle so that I know that they're what Spirit's trying to tell me. Okay. And I also know that it's completely randomized. Alright, I may need to put my glasses on for this. So, beloved beings, this is the Six of Wands. You know what that means. That's victory, riding in as the victor. Now, it might just be me, but I feel like this conquering hero has a bit of an expression of surprise on his face. I'm not sure exactly why. We can see the sun and the moon represented. The moon represented in his face with the full moon and the crescent. And then the sun. He has 6 hands outstretched. Now, I'm calling him he, but he really is gender neutral. I do not see any sign of gender on this figure. And all of the wands are being held toward him. These 5 down here. And he holds the one as a scepter. He's got wings, like a fairy's wings. And he's cradled in the bloom of a flower. It's time for us to step into our victory. Why? Because we have overcome the earthly things. That King of Pentacles, he looks very stern and intent on his earthly possessions. We are conquering the King of Pentacles because things are changing. The tide is changing. The wheel of fortune. Look at that wheel. And the figure not knowing where the wheel will land. This kind of devilish figure. Little gnome fellow on top. Possibly directing the luck. Whatever happens, will it be heartbreak? Will it be something wonderful? My bet is on something wonderful. But we need to tell that little ego part of ourselves, it's okay. Sit down. See him? He's sitting down. Sit down and hold your tongue and wait to see what happens. Because we also got the peacock. The peacock means the divine. We are being divinely guided if we only listen and pay heed to where the energy is going and follow it. We are being divinely guided. Remind yourself of that. Because finally we got Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf stands for vision, not vision seeing, but developing a vision, innovation. Remember that we have limitations, but we can overcome limitations by having the vision to go forward, to hold the space, to light the way. Recognizing the vision of the ones coming after us. Remember them. They are the ones that will make everything more equitable, more happy, more content, more satisfying to the masses. Not just themselves, but for everyone. So, beloved beings, remember to be the victor. And until next time.